Hey guys, Bada Bing here, thanks for joining me. Today we're going to be looking at the Maruzen Type-U gas blowback machine pistol. Well, that's Uzi Pistol to you and me. Let me start off by telling you a little story. Aha, now you can definitely tell I'm getting old. I was roughly 11 or 12 years old when I bought my first airsoft gun. It was back in the late 90s and my mother took me to a local gun shop. A shop which sold sporting rifles, shotguns, air guns and a small selection of airsoft guns. At the time it was like heaven to me, guns everywhere, and when we asked to look at the soft air guns, the guy behind the counter immediately said, "Uzi," and directed us to the machine pistol he had in the cabinet. At a price of £138, it was a little out of my budget. Or I guess I should say my parents' budget. Instead, I ended up walking out there with a KWC Colt Python gas revolver. Seeing the awesomeness that was at Uzi, I promised myself that one day, it will be mine. Oh yes, it will be mine. At the time, the MP5 wasn't on my radar, having just discovered airsoft and stuff, so the Uzi was the dream gun. Ask anybody that isn't into guns to name a machine gun, and they probably tell you Uzi. It's a quintessential choice in the category, and still is for many people. It wasn't until 8 or 9 years ago when I found this being sold on an airsoft forum, pretty much brand new in the box and for £50. What a bargain. The guy was selling two at the time, and I could have bought a second one had I have had the nerve. It comes in this cardboard box, which despite being ugly brown cardboard, has a pretty cool illustration on the lid. It contains the user manual and a cool Mach 11 poster, along with the pistol and magazine. Maruzen released this machine pistol way back in the early 2000s. It actually might have been 2000 or 2001. Maruzen had an older predecessor based on a slightly different gas system, and this was the new improved model. It uses the exact same magazines as the Mach 11, which they also released around the same time, and competed against the KSC Mach 11A1, which had also just been brought to the market. The Maruzen Mach 11/Type-U magazines were available in short 25 round, I think it was 25 round, or the longer 50 round capacity. The Uzi itself is built entirely of ABS plastic. The only metal that it has to boast about is the trigger and its parts, the magazine release, safety catch, inner barrel, and the blowback unit with its housing. The rest of it is an awful plastic, and without the magazine it weighs almost nothing. Even with the mag inserted, it doesn't add much to the overall weight. The Uzi is quite a chunky little gun, very boxy, but I like it. I find the grip superior to the one that's found on Mach 11s. It features a similar pattern checkering that's present on its larger Uzi brothers. The safety catch is positive and locks in and out of its position with a decent click. The grip safety is false and just moulded into the frame. The sights do not adjust, but that's no surprise, they're about as basic as it gets. The outer barrel features a thread for a suppressor, but a very specific thread for the Type-U. Back in the day you could have picked up a silencer for it, one of the extremely limited accessories developed for this gun. ANGS or ANGS produced a suppressor for the Type-U, but there's no chance in finding one of those now. The charging handle on the top cover is very flimsy. When charging the pistol, the sound of the clickety-clackety plastic is deafening. On the other hand, at the same time, there's something reassuring about racking it, so it sounds both dreadful and cool at the same time, although that might be just me. The magwell isn't exactly beveled for easy insertion. It's quite narrow, and it'll cause you to look down at what you're doing. As I mentioned earlier, the magazine holds 50 ppbs. Like the Maruzen MP5 magazines, it's built up from two parts. If I wanted to, I could tap out the pins and separate the two and install the base plate on the upper half for a compact little rig, but I think I'd prefer the full 50. After all, the Type-U does not feature semi-auto. It's always on the fun mode. It can rattle off the 50 in no time, so any less and it'll be a blink and you miss it moment. Being a Japanese airsoft gas blowback gun, it's intended to be fed on 134A or equivalent gas. so green gas, etc. will cause it to explode, and as this machine pistol is no longer produced, as far as I know, it'll be a terrible waste of a classic airsoft gun. Spare parts also do not exist. It's quite fragile anyway, so I'd imagine if it's dropped onto a concrete floor, it'll shatter like glass. Now, the fun part. Shooting. Wrong time of the year to be firing this thing. I had to keep the magazine in a warm pocket when firing outdoors. It's exactly as it's described on the box. Rowdy. Even though it's so poorly made, it's a hell of a lot of fun to shoot. It's got a wonderful recoil. As it fires from an open bolt, you get a different sensation to one's firing from the closed bolt. When you pull the trigger, the bolt drops, sending the motion forward, and bang, it cycles the motion back again. It does this extremely fast and loud. Here's how it went on the clock. No wonder it clears the 50 shots in less than 2 seconds. As long as the temperature allows, it'll fire off the 50 shots on one squeeze just before the cooldown shows up. This is my first time out with it in ages, and I think I got more of a kick out of using it than the micro gun I featured a few months ago. Or perhaps it's maybe on par. It's such a happy gun to shoot. It's adorable, like the billions of pictures of kittens on Instagram. Not only are you having fun, it's as if the Uzi is enjoying it just as much. The maximum range of this cutie is only about 30 meters, if that. Shooting at this target 20 meters away was a struggle. I should have just stuck with 2s instead of shooting 2 5s. The arc of fully auto bursts were descending just in front of the target. I only managed to strike the target a few times, however they were all able to land within a square meter. Definitely an indoor gun for those very close encounters. As it shoots 300 or below, it's not going to be too hard on the enemy players. They'll just get a good sprinkle of BBs. Okay, now that's a great name for this baby, Sprinkles. On the downside, sometimes the pistol will stop firing and require you to charge again to continue shooting. This happens every 100 rounds or so. It doesn't really bother me though, as it's not a skirmish gun and I don't need to depend on it. On 144A gas at room temperature, the most it shot was 310, so not bad. Unfortunately, this pistol does not feature a bolt lock or stop, so it'll continue to fire until it's out of gas. Maruzen later came out with the VZ61 Scorpion, which featured a bolt lock design. It's been great looking at this blast from the past. It's something I always forget I own. I never take it out skirmishing, as I only have the one mag, and it's fully auto only. It kind of prohibits it from being used at most sites, due to it being semi-auto only indoors. Spare mags are difficult to find. Very difficult in fact. I'm not sure they are available anymore. Or compatible Maruzen Mach 11 mags. Maruzen products in general have dwindled outside of Japan. If it wasn't for Impulse 101 stocking new batches of PPKs and P99s, I would have thought they've gone out of business. And that would indeed be a shame. Even though the Type-U is cheaply made, no bolt stop on empty, non-existent magazine support, and horrendously inaccurate, it's charming as hell, and a rare gem. I hope you've enjoyed the video, my friends. If you did, be sure to hit the like, and if you haven't already, subscribe so you can keep up to date with my latest videos. Any questions, feel free to chime in down below, or ping me over on my Facebook page, facebook.com/badabingpictures. Also, swing over to my Instagram @badabingpictures for bonus stuff. Tune in next time when I'll be showing the disassembly process for those lucky few that own the Type-U and require a step-by-step takedown guide for the maintenance. So until then, take care of yourselves and I'll catch you in a bit.